Life and business can be easy, but us silly humans love getting in our own way. My name is Nico Rapclis, and I've had a wild journey. From releasing traumas that I held on to for decades, to playing college athletics, working with multi-million-dollar brands, having a spiritual awakening, and now coaching incredible humans navigate their inner and outer world. The Just Grow podcast is my outlet to share and help others with life and business. After investing north of $100,000 into my personal and professional development, the Woo+Do formula is what has served me best. A healthy combination of mindset, energetics, consciousness, spirituality, self-healing, and discovery, matched with a high-level strategy, principles, focus, optimization, and accountability to help you be, do, and have everything that has been placed in your heart. This podcast is for the impact-driven entrepreneur that is finally ready to start thriving internally and externally. Welcome to Just Grow. Kris Dehnert.
What's happening?
What's happening, brother?
Living the dream.
Well, man, it's great to have you on the podcast. We got connected by a mutual friend, Vince Covino. Got to give a shout out to him. And, it was interesting because it wasn't even how a typical connection comes in. It was just, I got an email from, I think it was just directly from you asking for my mailing address. I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And had an idea because I was like, oh, it's mugs. I figured it was just like a mug. You're asking for my logo. I get it. And it's the coolest gift I've ever received in my life. And it's really special to me because of my baseball past and that's where Vision Espresso came from. And it's just been a
Which I
huge
was
part of my
unaware of.
story. You were
Which I was
unaware of.
unaware of too. Yeah.
So it was just really cool. And these mugs, you guys created these amazing mugs for us that I'm so pumped about that I really could feel like we can install that into our community, which is going to be really cool. But yeah, man, it's just, we had a special conversation. I love what you're creating. And I wanted to just chop it up with you and hear a little bit more about your story. You shared a little bit about how you got sick. I want to dive into that a little bit more and how our thoughts really create our reality. So I'm excited to just dive in, have a good conversation and see what unfolds.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I think who we are trumps what we do every day of the week. And sometimes we get to be cool people and do cool things. And I feel like that's the area in my life where I'm kind of existing right now, which is very peaceful.
Yeah, I sense that from you it was really cool. Like when you're talking about like you had a hard stop the day that we talked and you're like, because I got to go take care of my kids
Yeah.
as opposed to like, I got another meeting or I got to go do this. It's like, I just get this overwhelming sense from you that you're really grounded and you care about your family, the things that are really important that keep you who you are,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
Well, and I think the coolest part about it is none of us really start there. If we're lucky enough, we end there. And the
Hmm.
sooner you get there, the better off you'll be. Right. Because, like you said, the story and our story is all we really have. Really, the stories and the people and the connections and the impact that you leave is really all you have. And the faster people get to that point, I think the better off they'll be.
Yeah. Well, why don't you dive into your story? I'm intrigued to hear a little bit more about how you got sick and where that all stemmed from, and then we can dive into like how you got out of that too.
Yeah. So I won't go all the way back, but I had some businesses. I was in real estate and flipping and coaching and content creation all through probably, I don't know, 2008 through maybe 15, yeah, 13, something like that. And anyway, in 2015, my daughter was born and I was tied into a bunch of stuff. I was one of the first guys to do print on demand apparel and we did really, really well. North of $20 million we did selling t-shirts, which is crazy. But fast forward, I had a whole bunch of money, dumped it into a whole bunch of just dumb stuff. And because it was important and I was chasing that fame and fortune and all this other. And what I really wasn't paying attention to is the fact that I had a brand new little girl at home. And I was traveling every other week and kind of watching her grow up on like a Zoom call, which was weird. But I was doing it for the family. I was doing it for all this, these lies, right? Because you'll
Mm.
believe whatever you tell yourself, which we got into the other day.
Yeah.
Things happen quick and I ruptured my appendix. And rather than go to the hospital, what I decided to do was just take an Oxycontin and keep kicking it. Right. And I had the Stanley Cup the next day, and I borrowed my buddy's Ferrari, and I had to get to all the meetings when I had this fancy car, and had to meetings at my restaurant. Just all this shit is stupid, just stupid. Hindsight, right? Like, I understand you don't realize you're being stupid when you're in it. If you get past it, if you're fortunate enough to get past it and get to a more, stable place, you'll look back and like, oh, okay, I was the idiot. And that's kind of what happened. And by the time I got to the hospital, the abscess was the size of a football in my core. And they said, look, man, you got about a 30% chance that you don't make it out of this room, because we got to go through your back right now. And we got to take this thing out. And they did. And it was chaos. And the details were just irrelevant. But like a month and a half later, when I'm finally coming back to it, I remember, well, it was the first week I was laying in the hospital, and I was like, dude, God, get me out of this, and I'll make adjustments. And I remember calling people. I'm like, hey, we're not doing the deals anymore. We're not in business anymore. I'm not going to die letting you think I like you. Like, I was just purging just all the BS that I could possibly, get my hands on at that time. And anyway, I got out, and I just started over in a lot of ways, especially mentally. And I made very conscious decisions to be present, be aware, be aligned with who I am, right? You won't find me anywhere, whether it's right now or on stage or on a golf course or anywhere. This is me, like backwards hat, t-shirts, flip-flops, a little crass, like this is me. And I decided to start living in alignment in a big way. And the businesses I do, the people I work with, like I told you the other day, I was going to get my kids from school. It's a non-negotiable, man. I'd love to keep chatting, but we can't. I was supposed to be live on Fox News up in New York City. I'm like, look, I got a dance with my daughter tonight. If I can make it after that, if I get a red eye and make it, I'll be there tomorrow morning to be live on air. If not, I'm sorry, we'll have to do it next time. But I mean, these are non-negotiables. And I think saying it and doing it are very different things. But when you see it, you say it, you feel it, you tell others about it, the accountability that comes with it. And it's a daily practice, but I think it just starts getting you back on track. And, what I always love to tell people is, chase the happy and not the money. And you usually get both. And because you're chasing the things that really matter. And I think that hierarchy of importance and just priorities in general, I think is what have been just completely destroyed with social and just culture and a lot of these things. You focus on a lot of the wrong things. So constantly practicing on getting back to even is what I try to do every day. And it's served me well.
Well, I guess, it's interesting. I've had my fair share of extreme circumstances that have really humbled me. And, obviously sounds like that's exactly what you went through. Do you feel like, I don't say you have to go through that to like really get to this other place where you are realizing that the happy is the more important thing? Like, what would you say to somebody that's just kind of like teetering, things aren't going amazing, they're not going terrible, but like, does everyone get to that place where all of a sudden, like, shit just hits the fan and then they have these realizations, they have to go through that process? Or is there anything that they can actually just be like, that can wake them up without going through the extremes?
Oh, I think if for some, yeah, I think I listen, there's a lot of arrogance, and we all think we know more than the next person, right? But when you can really break down those walls a little bit and realize, hey, that person dealt with some shit and they know better than me in this area, maybe I should just listen. Any of you parents out there with kids know exactly what I'm talking about. I got two little girls that are like 6 and 11 going on 20, and they know everything. I know, Dad. I'm like, all right, man. Maybe I know more than you, but like sometimes we just can't learn until we have it happen to us. And there's two. I mean, there's two drivers. It's pain and pleasure. Mm-hmm. And one of those two things is gonna wake you up in a real way, and hopefully for the better. I could have died that day. That would suck. My kid wouldn't have a dad. My wife would be widowed, and my second daughter wouldn't even be alive today. When you think about the ripples that could be, it's wild. And sometimes, yeah, somebody like me, as hard-headed as I am and was at that time, Yeah, dude, I needed something like that. Best thing that ever happened to me, honestly. But some people probably can learn by listening, but who the hell's listening?
Mm.
Well, that's why I kind of love what you did. Like, as simple as it is, it's like the one person you'll listen to is yourself. Which is funny, that when we were talking the other day, I got off the call. I was like, damn, that's kind of cool. The one person you won't lie to, and the one person you listen to more than anybody is yourself. So what you're doing with Vision Espresso is pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think I would have learned unless I ran face first into a brick wall.
Yeah. I feel that too, because just to share a quick little snippet of my story, I same way. I was just like so much in the muck in a different way. But I needed something to break me out.
Yeah.
And freak accident. I was in the gym lifting like pretty normal. I pushed it a little bit, but then all of a sudden, like I was racking it. It was literally the last rep of my last set, like ready to be done for the day, going to rack up the bench. And then something popped in my shoulder, tore my pectoral tendon. The weight fell right back on me. And it was just like I felt like that was, and I had to have surgery and that whole thing, and it was just like a total wake up. But I absolutely needed that because
Yeah.
I resonate with what you're saying, like very hard headed, and I know, and I needed something to just knock me over the.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the reflection is I mean, I sound like a broken record in my own head because I talk about it so often in so many different places, but I focus on reflection, right? Like, who do you want to be? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? You know, I don't think people are spending enough time at the beginning. They're just in such a damn hurry to go, 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 go. Where are you going? Why are you going there? What does it look like when you get there? Did you already run past where you're trying to actually be? Your level of happiness or time. Like, I value things a little different now than I did then. And I think that's unique to people, though. I think it's unique what success looks like. It's a unique roadmap for many. And mine is, can I play with my friends? Does it take time for my family? This is my house. Do I work from my home? Can I leverage I have an amazing network. Can I leverage my network to make this? Is it fun? Will my kids be proud of me if this is what I do? Like, there's a whole different set of questions that I ask myself other than how much can I make and how fast can I make it? Because I believe in, multiple different currencies, not just cash. Right. So I don't know, how exactly that was related, but you know what I'm talking about from our
Mhm.
call today. Like that's just how I think now. And, yeah,
It's like we talked to, I think that one of the things that really spoke to me that's coming back is like, what game are you playing?
right. Right.
Because it's like once you know what game you're playing, then you know how to keep score and you know how to win.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you're playing the game of make as much money as possible and that's your game, then you know the rules, you know what you need to do to
That's
win.
not even the wrong answer. That might be the right answer for somebody.
Hmm.
You know, I get it. You're playing checkers, but you're using chess rules. You're not going to win.
Yeah.
That's simply put right there. You know,
Well, tell me more about, you mentioned what you tell yourself is what comes about. Like, tell me more about that.
um, some of the simpler ones for me is at night. I'm just grateful. Right. I don't think enough people are grateful for what they have. And I fight with and I don't want to say fight, and that's the wrong word. Again, words are powerful. I don't want to say that. I don't fight with my daughter. I advise my daughter. We were just at Disney yesterday, just random Sunday, went to Disney, hanging out. And she was looking at something. She's like, I need this thing, Dad. It's like a stuffed animal. Listen, I was like, do you need it or do you want it?
Mm.
And she's like, well, I kind of want it. And I was like, are you grateful for the last few that you got? She's like, no, not really. I said, well, that probably doesn't make a lot of sense for this. Again, just it's this daily practice, right?
Mhm.
And gratefulness with a child is very difficult because they're now, next, what's next. They'll be doing something in their mind. They're like, well, when this is done, what am I doing next? Right? It's craziest shit I've ever seen. And I'm like, baby, no, be here, be now, be grateful for what we have. You have, yeah. And what I tell her said, if there's 100 people standing in a line, you're number one. You're in the 1% of kids like on earth. You think about that and be grateful that you're in the front of the line, not you want to be 5 feet further in the front of the line. So I say that because it was literally conversations that have happened in the last 48 hours. And being grateful is one that I've found to be the most important to me. Like I go to bed and I just because sometimes I work myself to exhaustion, and when I say work, I'm in emails or watching baseball because that's what I do. And so I'm tired. I go to bed and I'm like, dude, thank you for this. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. And it's the dumbest shit ever. It's like, thanks for my dog not, still being here kicking. Thanks for everything. You can just make this list. And I just fall asleep that way, because I fall asleep in a few minutes. And it's so cool to go to bed being grateful about stuff. And also having this attitude of gratitude. I'm driving somewhere and just a green light. I'm like, oh, cool, thanks. And I'm not to God or not to the universe or not to anything in particular, right? I'm not saying that because I know a lot of people believe a lot of different things. I'm just saying just the practice of gratitude frequently is probably what I've experienced the most joy from. Is just consistent gratitude for random things all the time, and it just kind of changes your frequency a bit, and then actually no, not and then that's it. That's a final statement, because it applies in so many different areas. I'm golfing on a Tuesday at 11 in the morning because I didn't want to deal with something, or I'm working from my house, or I get to go to a Super Bowl party, or I'm at the World Series. It's like, hey man, thanks. I don't know. It's just that's been the best one for me.
And it's also, it was interesting. I read a journal I had from years ago yesterday.
Oh, that's cool.
I was really, coming back to your whole thought about reflection. And one of the things that stuck out to me in there was being grateful for all the little things. Because yes, all the things we just shared are amazing. But it's the more that you can just be grateful for, you just took a nice shower or you have a bed to sleep in.
The water was warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think because it's a constant building process. And what you said is that's it. And there's no anything else. It's just
Yeah.
being grateful because once you're in it, then you start experiencing it, understanding it. And then because you're grateful, then whatever you want to call it, your vibe is better. You are more people are more gravitated towards you. Opportunities are more gravitated towards you. And that's when the bigger things come in. So I just feel like it always starts from the small stuff and then it just continues to compound and build. And you just become that person that's grateful for everything. And then all of a sudden, all these amazing opportunities are coming in.
Well, and the consistency of it, right? Which is funny. You just mentioned that. That's right here. Let me try to knock this stuff over. Lock something. This crusty old piece of paper. Okay. And
Okay.
this, right? It's something I wrote in 2011. And I found it the other day. And it's very much in line with who I am and what I'm doing, And, I'll tell you what it says. It says, live a life of passion and abundance, passion for love and relationships, my work, abundance of freedom, money, opportunity. When it's all said and done, I want to be judged not by my success and my accomplishments, but what I achieved in others. It's not what I did, it's what I did for other people. That's pretty cool, right? And that's almost 15 years old, well before I got in an accident. So it's what I think when things went sideways, it's when I stopped being in alignment with what I originally once thought, right? And then that brought me back on purpose. Who knows? Everything happens on purpose, in my opinion. But what was interesting with that is like you said, consistency. What if you did this simple thing, one thing, do 5 push-ups every day? One day is not going to matter. 1,000 days, that matters, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the consistency and the compound effect of it that's the magic bullet of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Gratefulness included, especially.
Yeah, and even thinking about it from like a just like business growth, but you could apply it to literally anything. Is like it's this line that's like this forever. You're working and all the, you could even, I always come back to like a plants metaphor. I think plants are so fascinating because what happens, like you put the seed in, you nurture the seed, and nothing happens for a really long time. And then all of a sudden it pops through and then it grows. And I even think about like the redwood forest, like actually was just out there recently. And it's like, you grow it, you plant the seed and water it and give it sunlight and all these things for so long, and then all of a sudden, like it just pops through, and then I think or no, it's the ancient bamboo tree where it like will go like 60 feet in a very short period of time, and so like you don't see any of that stuff, but like, and then the question is like, does it grow 60 feet in whatever 2 months, or is it 60 feet the whole time? And because it wouldn't have happened if you didn't plant it and then water it and nurture it and water it and nurture it
Or
and
the
then
roots. Because a tree doesn't go up and then the roots go down. The roots go down and then it goes up. Right.
exactly.
You have to build the foundation to hold what you're building. And I think that kind of foresight is what a lot of people are missing.
So yeah, it's the compounding effect, and that's like I'm so big on that because and you even said something, and this was going to be a question I was going to ask, is you said that can get you out of alignment. So what keeps you in alignment?
Um, what keeps me in alignment? Tell you what, man, you lay on memories of what that looked like, felt like, sounded like. I don't wish that on anybody. Hey, you're having a blast and you got all the things in the world like going in your favor, family and a wife and a beautiful home and both parents are alive, like all the things. It's like, oh yeah, sorry you're dead today. It's like, fuck, dude, I don't want to remember. Being very grateful for the time that I have. I mean, I have just everywhere around me the pictures of me and my daughter and the
Mm,
daddy daughter dances and just 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 stuff like everywhere. Like
mm.
it doesn't elude me, right? Like I drop them off at school, I pick them up, you know we do the things like yeah, I just keep it front of mind what's important. um and I think once you have an opportunity to live in alignment, even if it's just for a little bit, I think it's impactful, right? Like I get to play with my friends, I get to be unapologetically me all the time, and if people don't like it, I don't even care, right? Because what they think that what other people think of you is none of your business, like that.
Hmm.
All of that. And it's like when you can just live in a way where how you want, when you want, with whom you want, it's like, I don't know, man, it's so refreshing. I think it's going to take a lot to get me off track at this point, because now I'm 10 years in since that accident. It still hits me when I talk about it.
Mm.
That means it's become, the memory of it and the impact of it has become a habit in and of itself, right? Because I didn't let myself forget it.
Well, it's interesting because it's like the message of compounding just continues to come up because it's like all those little reminders are just like constant reminders of what's important, what game you're playing, how to keep score, how to win the game. Like your game is family, and you're knowing
My
how to win
game,
that
I think,
game.
is time. My game is time. When I have a mastermind I go to, and when I go out there, my best friend lives in that town. He's in the mastermind as well. But I stay with him and his family. I get to stay with him and his wife, who I've known forever, and both of his kids I've known since they were born. I don't really talk to my wife and kids very much when I'm gone. I'm gone for like 3, 4 days. You have little text here and there. Hey, good morning. Have fun at school. Like that's it, dude. Because I'm where my feet are. Like I'm present where I'm at. And I think cutting the time out to just go upstairs and play pool with him for a couple of hours, or take the time out to go be engaged in a conversation and listening with the intent to learn, not just with the intent to reply, and just getting every second out of a minute that I can is really I think what it comes down to, I mean, as much as I would love to say, oh, it's my why, my family, I fucking love my family, dude. I would do anything for them, and I have, and it's like, but I think if you go deeper, what it really is it's getting every second out of a minute that I possibly can, and being where I wasn't. My little girl didn't go with us to Disney yesterday. I didn't think about her once. I was just there with my wife and my oldest, right? Like, and I don't know. I think that's so. I think it's time as a whole and being present as a whole, because I remember the first time I started doing that. Time kind of slowed down, because some, oh, how is it already this far in the year? You've heard this crap over and over again. Time flies. It's like, well, maybe you should get more out of your minutes.
Mm.
When I started being present, and that's part of why I started working at home. I've done this since way before it was cool, but with COVID and all that, like I've been like 15 years working from home. But when I did that, I was more present more often. I had more freedom, and I had more, and like time slowed down, which was weird. It was a weird thing. I remember when it happened, and now it's normal, because I've normalized it. But I remember that. It's like when I was more present, time just slowed down. It was weird, like the Matrix.
Well, you got more reps in it. You're very like
Yeah,
seasoned in being present. Like your roots are deep in being present. The more you
yeah,
practice it, the better you are at it. And it's something that I always very intentional about being more present every day because I love that what you're saying is like be where you are because it's like I remember having this I didn't have a conversation on a podcast and it was like I was visiting my grandmother's graveyard or gravesite with my parents. And if I was so distraught and thinking about, oh man, I wish she was still here or anything like that, I'm kind of missing out on the present time with my parents that that won't be a thing at some point, and then I'll be reminiscing about, oh, I wasn't present with them, and it's like it's just a constant trickle down effect. And so it's like what you're saying is like be where you are, be where your feet are. As much as you love everything else about your life, but like if you're not present with what's going on in the moment, then it's like you're kind of doing everything and everyone a disservice.
right. And it doesn't feel natural sometimes, though. Like, and that's the thing I was saying. I go from my wife and daughters for 3-4 days to go to my mastermind, and to not talk to them and not see them and not think about them much. Like that sounds, I sound like an ass, right? But if you really look at it, like I'm just engaged with the people I'm with, and I want to learn how I can help them, and they want to learn how they can help me, and I'm generating opportunity, and I'm generating meaningful conversation, and like being present there, it feels good too,
Hmm.
and but it doesn't always feel natural because you feel this obligation or guilt to always be where you're supposed to think you're supposed to be focusing your time, and then it does a disservice, like you said. But that's also important when it comes to say what you say yes and no to. When you're constantly committing, your plate's never empty, and if your plate's never empty, you can never get served. And I think that's important because people, these calendar links, that everybody has out there. Oh, here's my link, just pick a time. There's no shot on earth that I will ever let anybody choose which hours of my day they can fucking call me. Like, no, dude. It's just I don't know, that thing just, it freaks me out. I know a lot of people have that, so like if you do, my bad, whatever. But it's just the idea of always having a full plate. Man, you can never take these opportunities when they come, and they come quick. You got to be able to grab them. And I feel like that's what I'm doing with the time with these people, is I'm just keeping my plate clean so I can be there and eat with them.
Hmm. That's powerful. Yeah, I mean, just one other quick thing I'll share that really resonated when we had a conversation because I'll be straight with you, man. I feel like for some time now, I've been the person that just fills his plate as much as possible, just going, connecting. And you said something to the tune of like keep a small circle, like focus on the people that
Fewer,
are
bigger, better.
important. Say it one more time.
Fewer, bigger, better.
Fewer,
That's what we
bigger,
talked about.
better. Yeah. And that really resonated. I feel like that's the season that I'm really starting to enter, which is, it feels really good.
Good.
Well, let's just transition. I'd love to show you your Vision Espresso, and then we can talk a little bit further about that. So, and this will be a little over a minute long. There's a little bit of breaths in the beginning that to kind of help you stay present, and then obviously you know what's coming. So feel free to, if you want to close your eyes or anything, just get relaxed and let it be.
Everybody's out of the
Kris, because of the way you're showing up in this moment, your life feels alive and aligned. You honor your body with rest, fuel, and calm presence. Day by day, you return to your vision, choosing foods that energize you, nights of deep sleep, and spaces that keep you steady. Each choice strengthens you, and each breath carries you forward with clarity and care. And then, almost without noticing at first, the weight began to fall away. One morning you looked in the mirror and saw 40 pounds gone. Not because you chased it, but because you lived it. Stronger, lighter, vibrant, alive in every cell. The real celebration is how you carry yourself now. With confidence, with energy, with pride your wife and kids feel every time they see you thrive. This life is yours because you keep showing up, and each step roots you deeper in who you are.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What'd you feel?
Alignment. I don't feel like I'm not living or thinking that way already. So now that I know that's not the same for most people, but it's a journey, like everything is.
Mm-hmm.
The daily decisions that we're making. What's funny is even the day we recorded that, because I'm in an industry, I make beer mugs out of baseball bats, right? So I'm always around breweries and amazing places. But that day we talked, it's funny. It's like, all right, you just recorded this thing, and then you were going to go have, make a cocktail that night. And I skipped it. I'm like, whatever, dude. Don't be full of shit. You sat there and did this thing. So it was funny. Like the first day, something that we talked about, it hit me in the head when the opportunity came up. I was just going to make a mixed drink at the end of the night, whatever. I was like, you know what? You don't need that. So I skipped it. Mm-hmm. And it's funny how one thing said one time with one person that you barely know could then impact. So that the idea of a version of a future self who you do know very well and who you wish to know for the rest of your life can make similar suggestions on a regular basis. I think that's kind of that could be a secret sauce.
Hmm. Well, kudos to you, because I mean that's just like what you said. Well, I don't even know if it would necessarily be anything to do with me, but I think it's the fact that you like spoke it out and you made it real and you made a decision. Because it's like, I heard something on a podcast a few months ago, and it's like we're all kind of full of shit. And, because it's like, just let's say this example, like maybe we have that conversation and you're like, oh yeah, maybe I want to like not drink as much. But then it's like when you go through a process that are like, all right, what's my vision? Or what I like to call too is just like your intention. And you like make that commitment, or more so just like a new decision, and you speak that out and you're like having more accountability over yourself. It allows you to not be as full of shit, and you're being intentional, you're operating with more integrity, because I think that that's really what alignment is. You know what you want, you know the game you're playing, and you're operating with integrity, and you're not letting yourself slide.
Yeah. Well, the piece of knowing in a lot of areas of my life that nobody can catch me in a lie, because a lot of people live behind a facade, and nobody's going to catch me in a lie. right?
Hmm.
Because there's no reason to lie because I have no consequences if I tell the truth. You may not like what the hell I got to say, but that's your problem. That's not my problem, right? And yeah, so 100% what you're saying.
I'd be curious to hear a little bit of your perspective of going through that process with the going through the GPT and what you just experienced through all that.
It was simple. If we're talking about the technical aspects of it, it was pretty simple. Didn't take, I mean, it took what, 5 or 6 minutes. It wasn't long at all. Maybe even shorter for me. I feel like I'm pretty well spoken. So creating something was not hard. Reading it's not hard. Um, and I, just like with any kind of AI, it's going to continue to self teach and get better, cleaner, faster, more accurate as it goes. I think that's cool. Um, yeah, I mean, it was pretty simple,
Hmm.
pretty simple. And it makes you think too. Like I said, I mean, just the thought processes that I was going through that day ended up making me make one good decision one day.
Hmm.
Now, is that going to be impactful? No. But if you do it 2 days and then 3 days and the consistency of practice that what we talked about, I mean, it certainly can be impactful.
Yeah, and I mean that's one of our biggest missions here is like how do we get people to like really adopt not only going through the process but listening to it on a consistent basis because that, we talked about the compounding effect is you're digging those roots a little bit deeper every single time that you re-listen to it. And then obviously we have the bigger one that's, that one takes a lot longer. 90 minutes to 2 hours usually going through that. And that helps you like really dig a lot deeper. And then you get a 6 minute audio. I mean, this one, I just made a new one and like it makes me cry every time. So it like, in the emotional aspect of it too, I always say that like, in order to really reshape our subconscious, because I really feel like that's ultimately what we're doing. We're helping people like rewire
Yeah.
their subconscious because right now their subconscious is in a million different directions. They have these blocks, and the only way to actually reprogram it is to have a repeating message, an emotionalized, a repeatable message that goes into the subconscious. And then they're proven to themselves that they're becoming that person because they're listening to it on a daily basis. And so that's what we're doing with the 75 Easy program because like once we get people to adopt it and we start getting the masses to adopt it, that's when we'll hit that critical mass and we'll have some steady growth and whatever will
I
come.
think the community component, again, I don't know the details of the community component that you're building, but just daily accountability of, click like or comment below if you listen to yourself this morning, right? And I think there'll be plenty of people that are full of shit and they'll be like, oh, I did, and they didn't, but then they feel guilty and they'll do it.
Mm.
There's that. And then how many days in a row are they going to be full of shit before they actually just start doing it? I think that could certainly play. But then it's not a normal activity. So I think being around others who are participating in a non-normal activity is going to normalize it. I think that's certainly a big piece of this as well. And I mean, how many hours a day? And I challenge you, if you don't know how much you're on social media or how much you're on your phone every single day, go look at the time spent on the screen and which apps. You're consuming absolute garbage for hours a day, whether you realize it or not. And you certainly could cut out 5 minutes, 10 minutes, from scrolling through cat videos or political crap or whatever you're, consumed in, and put it towards this, or do it twice a day or 3 times a day. Do it as soon as you wake up and right before you go to bed, like whatever the cadence that works for you, I think do. But you get a community of people doing that. And hey, I found a new way I set it as my ringtone. Here's how you do it. Like, or as my alarm in the morning. So the first thing I hear, it wakes me up coming out of bed is, me talking. I think that's a lot you can play with this, and the faster it gets normalized, the better it'll be.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had all those thoughts because, those are times when our subconscious is the most receptive too. So
Mm-hmm.
like when you get a message right away, because it'd be fascinating to really actually learn all the data, but like how many people like go to social media right as soon as they wake up and just see the actual data on that. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people that do that, but talking about, people spend all this time on it. It's like input in input, or whatever goes in, that's what comes out. So whatever is going into our mind, that's what's coming out, and that's why we're living in this world that we're living in.
I wonder what the number. I know what I do first thing in the morning. I go through my email and I see how much stuff I can throw away, like right off the bat. Like if it's not clear, delete. So put a little checkbox. I'll check, dude, 20 or 30 things, just delete without even opening or reading it, anything. If it looks like marketing, it's safe to ignore, that old adage, bro. So I wonder, that's weird, because I wonder if every morning my brain's like, how much shit can we just throw in the trash and not even worry about? And that's how my day starts. And then I get up, take the kids to school, make coffee, hang out, walk around, play a game of pool, whatever. And then I get to work at 10 is when I get into stuff. That's interesting. How impactful and influential the mornings are. And what does that say about you?
I've said that for a long time. My life drastically shifted when I did a very dedicated morning routine for 90 days straight. Because I was like, I'd do several different things all over the place. But then I was like, let me just try this. Let me just get dialed in. Let me do some type of meditation. It was like a meditation, a little bit of a workout. I like did sit-ups as soon as I jumped out of bed, and there's a few other things. But that thing shifted me, and I realized that how I start my day is how I continue my day, and how I continue my day is how my weeks shape, and then my months shape, and then my years shape. And I even break it down to like the first thoughts that are coming into your mind. Like, how do we just be great? Coming back to how we started this conversation, how do I be grateful first? Like, oh my gosh, another day. Like, and having that being my first thought and just rooted in gratitude on how that impacts the rest of my day. It's just a trickle down effect for me.
Agreed.
You know? Well, this has been awesome, Kris. I appreciate you taking some time to chop it up with me.
Oh yeah, dude. Absolutely. Anytime I get an opportunity to chat about, I've done some business, we've done some things, we made some cool stuff, right? But at the end of the day, again, who we are trumps what we do. So to have any kind of more meaningful conversations tie right into my 15 years ago me about, what kind of ripples can we put into the world, and be judged on, how many people we were able to help through something we said, did, made, created. Yeah, good stuff.
Let me ask you this. I oftentimes ask this at the end of the podcast. What's an ask that you have?
I mean, for me, so much of what I do now and I'm about now is internal, right? Like family, close circles, friends, experiences, things like that. So what makes all that work is the support of my work, right? Whether it's big golf, I have a golf line, or dugout mugs. These things. I mean, you got some, and you saw they're, dude. When you get given one of these, they're amazing.
They're so
But
cool.
like corporate gifts or custom stuff, and I don't know, like just supporting what I'm doing, because at the end of the day, like I can play with my friends. I'm having fun. Doesn't take away time with my family. It's something my kids would be proud of, that like they go to school and tell their teachers and tell their friends that this is my dad does, right? Like all the boxes are being checked. So supporting what I'm doing helps me continue to, be in alignment. And that's anybody that can help me do that, keep me on track a little better. They've done me a great service.
Hmm. Yeah, we'll definitely provide your link and everything down in the show notes and description and everything. And yeah, go check his stuff out. It's super cool. I showed the smaller one, but here's the bigger one too. They're
Oh
so
yeah.
cool. I was at a networking event the other night, and there was a guy that was starting a Christian baseball brand. And I was like, dude, you got to check out Dugout Mug.
What's is he out of Texas?
No, he's in Arizona.
Okay, because I just made some for a guy in Texas. It's a Christian baseball brand. He has a bunch of players involved, and he just made a bunch of custom mugs for him and had them at this event. That reminds me, I need to follow up with him. It was just yesterday. You see how it went. But yeah, man, just support what I'm doing, and Just like it's like the Jesse Itzlers or the Jesse Cole from the Savannah Bananas or the Gary V's. It's like support people who are doing good and making changes for the good in the world, right? And that's what I say. Maybe I'm not on that level. Maybe I am. Who knows? But supporting good people doing good things, it's just going to kind of the compound effect of that's huge. So that's all I ask is just more support with what I'm doing.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for your time. Any other last words you got?
Oh man, yeah, just chase, just try to be happy. Look around. There's plenty of things that make you upset. Thick skin, short memory. Just keep it moving. Be better to fewer people. Take the fewer people around you. The fewer, bigger, better.
Mm-hmm.
Fewer people, bigger deals, better relationships, and then live with that alignment, and things will get better for you. And if they're better for you, you won't be an ass to your kids, and then they won't be an ass to their friends. And like it's the that ripple effect's real, man. It's really, really real. So just be good, be better. Be better. Whatever you're doing, just be better.
Yeah. Oh, awesome, man. I appreciate you, brother.
You bet.